What's up, everybody? Sudeep Tumma back here with another NBA draft player breakdown. We'll be looking at Malaki Branham this time, the Ohio State guard, who was, kind of overshadowed a little bit to begin the season. Still talked about as an impactful freshman. Ended up making third team All Big Ten on the All Big Ten freshman team. Was named the All Big Ten, or rather, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. So all the accolades really piled up. But EJ Liddell was obviously the guy who was the great college player, the main engine for Ohio State. With his great season last year, Liddell was kind of the highlight. But Branham's really taken over and looks to be in the same class as a draft prospect as Liddell. Branham's an interesting type of player, prospect in general. He's not really an elite athlete, a smooth athlete, slippery in a lot of aspects, but he really makes up for it. He's a hard nosed, tough guy. He does things really well, very skilled, and you'll see a lot of that as we go along. Like I said, a smooth athlete, not great. Has, I think, okay, underrated straight line speed, deceptive burst, I think, for sure. But overall, he's not gonna burn you with a first step or anything like that. He's really the type of guy to really break you down and do a bunch of those things. And one of the plays he really excels with is his mid range game. It's something that really sticks out to you. He's got a nice high release on his shot, elevates really well, and is able to stick it. So we start off with this play here. Branham's here at the top of the key, coming in a little pick and roll set, and as that pick just happens, defending gets trapped, and Branham just elevates. And you see how easily, right? Defender's just a step behind. He's comfortable, but he's reading Kofi Coburn. So as that pick and roll is happening, right here you got the drop defender, right? Or rather, the help defender who ends up dropping and playing drop coverage on that. So what does that mean? That means you've got this open space right here that's going to be the whole time. So as Branham starts dribbling, patiently navigating, he feels that space out. He knows Coburn's not going to be able to contest, so he just elevates, right? And it's interesting because as we see his three-pointer later, release point's not as high, but here he elevates well and gets that ball up there, and it really helps him. But you see, right, he elevates in the air, gets the release point up high, which makes it very undefendable. He's able to hit some of those off-balance shots and strokes it. And like I said, those pick and roll sets, something he really has really proven to be pretty good. And as the season's gone on, he's become better and better. His conference play numbers really stick out, averaging about 16 a game versus 13 on the season. Obviously, both are solid numbers, but he really excelled in conference play. 16 a game, shot about 52, 53%, almost 47% from three. And I mean, the efficiency just speaks for itself. And obviously, a lot of that has to do with the type of shots he's taking. And he's not taking as difficult shots as a lot of other guys, but that efficiency still stands, and his shot creating ability is true. Versatility also. But yeah, like I said, those pick and roll sets, like you saw here, he's pretty adept in that. He doesn't get a lot of those. A lot of what you see is off ball motion, which we'll see as we go along. But those pick and roll sets, he navigates really well. He appears patient, makes good reads, whether pass or shoot. You see it out here where he feels it out, and you'll see how he kind of feels out defenses as we go along. So right here, one more time. So when Branham catches the ball up here on this wing, he just lets his defender, or rather his man, clear, and just dribble drives down, right? And you see there, right? And this time it's not even pick and roll where he's feeling out of space. He's just working his defender, using the body, creating a little angle, and then right here, right? Little spin, has good footwork. And over here, this is on the move. I mean, and you watch just the body, right? I mean, this is like immense body control. You see just the balance and the ability to control himself when he's in the air. That's impressive, right? I mean, this is the type of skills that you really think will translate to the next level. Here one more time, and this is a lot more simpler. You got Branham down here in the post, gets the ball, and shoots over. And he displays some of that post game with low post, where he's got the little post hook. Over here, you see the turnaround jumper, where he's just going to elevate over a guy. He can definitely do that. And he takes advantage of smaller defenders. He's got 180 pounds, 6'5". He's got a pretty strong, compact body, good frame. And you see when he's got guys that are smaller, he does work it down there and is able to score a little bit. But you see, again, it's just confidence in that shot, and he's willing to shoot it whenever he feels that he's got space, and it's been very fruitful for him. So from there, like I talked about, the 3-point shot, right? You're going to see the release point is not as high, still a good shot overall. But he really operates well as a floor spacer and moving off of off ball motion. That's really where he excels. This guy runs off like what feels like a million pin downs. He's moving off screens constantly, curl cuts. They run some hammer screens for him, and a lot of dribble handoffs as well. He's getting the ball with an advantage. That's what Ohio State does very well to overcompensate for his lack of really up top tier handles to create the shots himself. But they get him on the move, and then from there he can create very well. And you'll see some of that here. So you got Branham over there in the corner. So as that play happens, you watch the Rutgers defender that's on Branham, dude right here. So Jamar realizes the ball at the top, and as he initiates this play, Caleb McConnell is just going to dive right down. And what does that do? Opens up the obvious shooting spot for Branham, right? Takes it, strokes immediately. And it's like that. A lot of spot up looks. That's usually what you kind of going to see from him, the majority of it. He does display some of the ability to shoot off the dribble, but majority of what he's doing off spot up looks. But he is able to hit contested looks. Doesn't really display too much range. But like I said, it's contested. He's got a great trigger. He's ready and willing to pull it at any point, and you can't really argue with 47%. Over here, one more time. You got Branham over there on that wing, and here I'm talking about with the hammer kind of screen from Kyle Young. So as that play starts, you keep your eye on Young, and as that ball comes down and this Rutgers defender steps in, Young just sets his body, gets that ball for Branham, and Branham just shoots it and makes it. And he's very reliable from that spot, right? He gives you a lot of presence of that. They move him off and get him shots, and it does it pretty well. It doesn't shoot, ridiculously high volume, only 3-4 attempts a game, but does a very good job. And over here you can see him again, a pick and roll set. And this one I'm talking about with being able to dribble, or shoot off the dribble, excuse me. Got Branham up here. So watch as his defender right here decides to drop and go below the screen. Branham just settles and pulls. Right, this looks it looks like a staggered screen with the two guys ready to set screens. But since this defender goes right under, you see Branham, he just feels it out, right? All of a sudden he's got all the space around him, so he just pulls up. Easy. And he flashes some of that. It's definitely going to continue to get better and better as time goes on. But again, like I said, you already love the efficiency. And here's where it's kind of interesting with this game, right? Like I said, not the great first step that is going to defeat someone right off the dribble, but he's got a lot of traits that make him a very good driver. Like I said, deceptive burst, and you see it. He changes speeds really well and is able to operate within that sort of tangent. And he's got the power, the strength to finish the contact. He just puts his shoulder down and goes, puts his head down and drives straight to the rim. He's got nice soft touch around the rim. Doesn't really have a full arsenal of crazy different moves. It's pretty basic, but like I said, a good touch around the rim, and you see it's pretty effective in some of those pick and roll sets and also just off of motion. So over here you got Branham, little pick, and watch the patience and just bursts, right? And it's what we saw from that first play, right? When he's watching Coburn. Same sort of situation. So as that defender goes over the screen, right? Branham's dribbling. And now you're watching Coburn, right? Because this is the guy that Branham has to key. And what I love when I talk to the patience, this is what I'm talking about. The ability to just slowly drive through and not just go at full speed and give the defender advantage. Right? He's slowing down and freezing Coburn essentially, right? By dribbling so slow. Because I keep saying this in every pick and roll set. The longer you make that help defender freeze, the more advantageous it's going to be for you. Because you're forcing him to make a decision to either fall on that fade for the guy setting the screen or pick up onto Branham, and then he would just pass to an open shooter, right? And like I said, you get the advantage by waiting. But over here, right, you see Branham, and then from here, so, and then just little burst, right? And like I said, it's not crazy Jaden Ivey, JD Davison, those kind of guys, but he's got some deceptive burst and he knows how to use it pretty well. And yeah, displayed a lot of those traits. Over here one more time. You're gonna have him up here, gets the ball, nice little jab step, and just go. Right, simple. You feel it out and you just go. Right, you're able to do some of those things, and it just helps. Right, it's working off of those type of looks and being able to do that. His jab step's pretty good, where he uses that and just drives. He's got, like I said, it's the burst. That acceleration is definitely underrated and understated, but he's got enough of it to make an impact. That's why he's able to get to the rim so much and score in those spots. Here one more time. You can see Branham, right, dribble handoff, gets the ball at the top, and it's gonna set up like another pick and roll. This time he rejects the screen, which he does a lot, and from there just puts his head down, continues to dribble down, right? Like you said, like it's almost like a running back, low pad level, runs down, keeps his head down, and as he's going to the rim, gets a step, keeps it low. He's got good body control, and finishes. It's nothing crazy fancy where you're really like I said, there's not a full arsenal of moves where he's gonna throw all these different things at you, but he's going to do a good solid job. And over here is a passer too. We just talked about all the scoring traits, and a lot of that's going to be translate very, very well and very quickly. But what's going to be important is his ball handling and his passing as well, because his ball handling, it's not great. It's not top tier where he's going to be able to immediately be a primary ball handler. He's really, not to say he projects as a 3-and-D catch and shoot type of guy, but that's what he's at right now if he continues to stay where he is as a ball handler. But as he kind of improves that and is able to create on his own, even as a secondary guy, then he'll really be able to play a lot more on ball rather than just a 3-and-D type of mold, which will only further his upside. But his passing's been interesting too, because averages about 2 assists a game, nothing crazy, but he makes good basic reads. Definitely getting better in that aspect, and you see a little more here and there. But I like that he doesn't really get himself in bad situations. Averages, I believe, about 1.5, 1.6 turnovers a game. Nothing crazy. He's not very turnover prone, but makes good decisions. So you got Brandon, right? When he gets that ball up here, that little pick and roll set. But this is what you love right here, because that screen is being slipped. And what do you got? You got this big area right here, wide open. So let's scroll back for a second and watch. Right, so watch Brandon gets the ball. Second defender hedges, little slip, and just the feel, right? Like I said, it's a simple pass, but just having the feel and the understanding and not going, that's really a good thing. And the better passer he is, obviously, the better anyone is. But it's also another thing that's going to, like I said, help him more and more as he gets to the next level. Here, one more time. So you got Branham, one screen slips, keeps the ball, and then as E.J. Liddell comes up here, this defender, Malik Hall, watch him. So as this play goes on, Branham starts driving to the right, and Malik Hall immediately steps in, right? And what does that do? That leaves this big void right here. And it's just timed very well. Right? Play starts. We'll just simple, we'll just toss over, and because you've already gotten right that big space, Malik Hall recovers, but not with a good angle because he stepped to help for just half a second, and Liddell gets that step, and because of that scores. Simple things. And when you look at Branham as a rebounder, it's really interesting because averages about 3.5, 3.6 rebounds a game, I believe. And that number really does tell almost the whole story. He's not really someone you're going to write home about as a rebounder. He doesn't really crash much on the defensive glass, but he does do a good job boxing out when his man is coming to crash behind him, which is good. But on offense, it's interesting because he seems to go down and crash almost every single play. Doesn't get a lot of them. Averages below offensive rebound a game, but he does that a lot. It's kind of interesting and peculiar. But his rebounding upside's up there. 6'11" wingspan, which helps him on defense as well. But even on offense, even on the defensive glass, that length, if you just commit to rebounding, be much better. But yeah, you got Branham up here. Watch as that play goes on. Keep your eyes on Branham. Balls go up, and Branham just continues to run, right? He gets an angle because of that, gets that little tip, and simple things like that. And like I said, the upside's there. And as a defender, Branham's really impressed as well. Hard-nosed, tough guy, but he's very competitive on defense. There's definitely some things that need to be cleaned up. His off-ball defense, he mostly stays, intact, and his defense intensity is mostly good. I think he's usually, pretty locked in and moving with this guy, but there are times where he definitely falls asleep. A lot of backdoor cuts, especially when a ball handler starts driving. Then he gets caught ball watching a good amount of times, and because of that, he gets burned on defense. But what he does do, in one-on-one situations, he definitely sticks, and very well. So we'll see in this play, right? You got Branham up here. Watch as play goes on. Pick comes. Branham doesn't fight around it completely, and he's beat here. But watch him just fight. The recovery speed and the effort. The effort is what you love. Gets stuck, but continues to fight, right? Gets his arms back, sticks with him, contests a shot. Great defense. It's the effort. That's what you ask for a lot of times. Not everyone has the athletic gifts, but you need someone that is really going to stick in there and be a strong, hard-nosed defender. Here one more time. Got Brandon at the top. Pick comes, gets stuck, but still chases after it. Alters that shot because of that air ball. And those are things you love. Like I said, the competitive nature on that side of the ball is really a big plus for him. And it's almost reminiscent of just, his entire game and kind of what it's built around. It's sort of that hard-nosed, tough sort of guy. And so Branham gives you on both sides of the ball. Versatile scorer, he's also on playmaking, the rebounding, and the defense. I mean, he's really a impressive prospect. Like I said, interesting. He gives you a different flair, but he's definitely one that'll be good, it looks like. And he's really shot up as the months have gone on. Another one that kind of flew under the radar a little bit, probably on a team with another guy, much like we talked with Jeremy Sohan and Kendall Brown. But Branham's really sticking out now, and really got better as the season got on. Not just his numbers, not just the number of touches he had, but also just his overall play and some of the decision making and some of the concerns you saw earlier on really kind of washed away. And he really has been a really good presence and a lot of skills that look like they should be able to translate to the NBA. So it'll be interesting to see how Branham does, where he goes in draft day. Probably looking like right outside lottery, maybe lottery pick, depending on what a team chooses to do. But he is definitely flying up draft boards and going to be a good one. But that's been the report on Malaki Branham. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out the full scouting report. The link is in the description. But once again, thank you guys for listening, and I hope you have a great day.